Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crocheters Creed, and today we are going to be making enemies slash characters from the Binding of Isaac. Specifically in this video, we will be making enemies instead of the characters. The next video will have at least 2 characters from the actual game. I do also want to keep in mind that I do not know all of the names to these enemies, and if I do find the names, they will be linked in the description with a tiny description of what the character or enemy does and or is. And if they are not linked, please feel free to leave in the comments the names to some of these enemies. Today we are only going to be making 4. The same with the next video, you will be making 4 as well, but pick and choose which ones you want to make. And the materials that you will need for these projects are, or for this particular project, is red yarn, black yarn, gray yarn, and a light pink yarn. You will also need a 5.5 millimeter hook, which is the only hook that you will need for this project. You will also need a assortment of felts. You will need a dark orange felt, black, white, and a light pink felt. You will also need your scissors, your stitch markers, your yarn needle, a pen or marker, and your stuffing, of course, and your glue and or glue gun. And the glue gun is essential for this project because you will be gluing on a lot of pieces. So gather all of your materials and let's get started. Alright, so for this video, I've only compiled 4 of the enemies, and I used this picture for reference to the enemies. I don't know if you can see that. The enemies are characters in the Binding of Isaac. The Binding of Isaac was one of the games that I wanted to crochet some of the characters off of because they're really, really cute, but the game is pretty dark. But I know there are a lot of Binding of Isaac fans, so I just want to make sure I get these names and these characters right, because I know some of these people on this list are not characters or enemies. Now, of course, you have Isaac, who I did crochet, but a lot of the people, or the ones that I thought were characters, or enemies, and I don't know the names to some of these people. So if you do know the names, please put it in the comments so that I can put a name to them, because they're really, really cute. I just don't know all the names because all the enemies, the ones that I tried to look up, I didn't find names to. So the ones, I'm using this picture for reference, so the ones that I crocheted that you are going to be crocheting today is this one, which is the black globlin. I found the name for that. This one, the bandaged one, I don't know the name for this one, so please put it in the comments. I found this one, which I believe is called the gazing globlin or goblin, and I also made this one with a little bomb, and I believe that's it. That was 4. So a lot of these I want to make, and looking on the wiki, there are a lot of other ones, and I've also been watching the game. So I have a lot of these that I still want to crochet, so this will be a running video series, I guess you would like to call it, because these characters are really, really cute, and the only thing that you have to know how to do is make the heads, and then you'll just need a lot of felt and a lot of time. So let's get started. Alright, so the only hook that you will need to make the main parts of these, which are the heads, is your 5.5 millimeter hook, and I'm going to show you how to make all the heads, so that once you get the pattern down, you just make all the heads, or whichever ones that you choose with the corresponding colors. So you will need, I'm just going to make it in pink so you can see the stitches better. So you're going to make a magic circle, take your 5.5 millimeter hook, put it in the circle, wrap around, pull down, and you have your magic circle. Now you are going to put 10 single crochet into the magic circle. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The lighting looks really weird on the camera. 8, 9, and 10. I should do it like this. So after you do your 10 single crochet, you are going to pull that through, pull that end through, and you are going to slip stitch into the top stitch, and you are ready for row 1. Alright, now after you are done, you are going to chain 1 and insert your stitch marker. Sorry it's so big, I don't know where my tiny one is. So once you do that, you are going to put a single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in the first stitch or the next stitch, and then you are going to put an increase in the next stitch after that. So 1, and then go back into the same stitch, and that is 2. So after that, you are just going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So then in the next stitch, you have 1 single crochet. After that, you are going to do an increase. And you are going to repeat this pattern all the way around for row 1. Alright, now after you are done with row 1, you are going to slip stitch into the top stitch, and you are going to insert your stitch marker, chain 1, and insert your stitch marker. Now for row 2, and you will see this as a pattern for row 2, you are going to go into the next you're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So the next stitch, you do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then after that you are going to do an increase. After that increase, you are going to do, is that focus? You are going to do one single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then you are going to do an increase, and you are going to repeat this pattern all the way around for row 2. Alright, now when you are done, you're going to slip stitch in the top, chain 1, and insert your stitch marker. Now, as you can see, like most of the heads of any amigurumi, once you start to build up the head, the row that you are on corresponds with the amount of single crochet that you need to have in your row. So for row 3, you are going to put 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then you are going to do an increase. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. For row 4, you're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and then an increase. Meaning every row that you go up on in a single crochet. And this is in the description. All of the this video, I have gone back putting the written pattern in the description. The videos before were pre-recorded. So you are going to continue until you get to row 6, which is 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches and an increase, and you are going to stop there. So row 6, wait until you get to row 6, and then come back. Alright, now after you are done with rows 1 through 6, for rows, and you want to make sure you're using your stitch marker every row. For rows 7 through 12, you are going to chain 1 and you are going to single crochet in every stitch around. Alright, now after you are done with rows 7 through 12, for row 13, you are going to chain 1 and you're going to decrease in the beginning and the end of the row. So for this, I think, well, this doesn't match with the first few rounds. So for row 13, decrease in the beginning and the end and single crochet in between. Alright, for row 14, you are going to chain 1 and you are going to do 2 decreases in the beginning and end of the row for row 14. Alright, and now for row 15, you are going to put 3 decreases in the beginning and end of this row and single crochet in between, and for the last row you are going to put a decrease in every stitch around for the last row. After that, stuff it, and I will be back to show you how to assemble all of the heads. Alright, now that the head is completely made, you follow that pattern for all the heads. You just choose which one you want to make and continue to make your head. So the one that I will be making next, since we did the pink, I might as well just do the pink bandage lady, which is this one. I don't know her name. If you know her name, please tell me in the comments, but we're going to be making her. So I already have my head here. There she is. And for this girl, the parts to this are very, very specific. So to make her look more realistic, these are all the parts that you have to her. That's one. I've made her, I'll set the parts out first so you guys can see, and then I will be back to show you all the parts that you need for her and then to assemble her. Alright, so I'm going to pick this up to show you the different parts of what you will need. Now, these are her eyes. You will have to crochet the eyes. I will show you how to do that. You're going to need your black yarn, and you're going to need to crochet the eyes. I'll show you how to do that. Then you're going to need 2 tiny little strips of black yarn. I will then show you how to cut out the mouth. This is a little flower that goes on her head. This is the pupil and little embellishments that give the face more detail. And then she is bandaged, so she has these little things that you're going to have to glue on. Now all of this you will need a glue gun for, and it may be harder to do with the glue gun because it's tiny little pieces. It is a bit dangerous. I recommend you use some type of gloves or be very, very careful, because I have burned myself in the past and it does not feel good at all. So I'm going to show you how to cut out, because the cutting out part is pretty easy, but I'm going to show you how to crochet the eyes and then show you what to cut out for the rest of the face. Alright, for the eyes, for the bandaged one, you are going to take your black yarn and your 5.5mm hook, and you are going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then you are going to single crochet down this row that you have just made. So single crochet down the entire row. My apologies for the lighting. I'm still trying to get my camera work done a little better, the lighting better, but this is what I have to work with for right now. Forgive me. So after that, you have your row. After that, for row 1, you are going to chain 1, turn, and you are going to single crochet in every stitch across. I also want to note that you want to go back into that stitch that you just did and single crochet down. I'm just going to do all of this on camera because the eyes are pretty quick to do. Doesn't take that much time to do them. Get into the last stitch. Now you single crochet in that last stitch, chain 1, turn your work, and for row 2, pay close attention, you're going to go back into that same stitch that you had, that same stitch, single crochet, and then after this, in the next stitch, you are going to slip stitch. So go in and slip stitch, right? Pull up the next stitch, single crochet, and the next stitch, slip stitch, and you're going to repeat this pattern all the way down. 1 and slip stitch. So you slip stitch in your last stitch. So now you have that. Now for row 3, you are going to chain 1 and you are going to single crochet. You don't go back in that stitch anymore. They're going to be tiny stitches because you just did slip stitches, and you're going to go on the tops of those and you're going to single crochet down the entire row, and that will make your eyes. So after you have finished that, you will have these. Will look like this. Now if you want to make them look more, how do I put, more rounder, you can slip stitch in every stitch, slip stitch around the entire border to make it look, to make it pop more. It's your choice. So after that, now that you have your eyes, you're going to yarn or sew in your loose ends. You will also need 2 strips of black yarn, but now I'm going to show you how to make the, sorry, it's thundering out here. I'm going to show you how to make the mouth or the features of the face. So for her, she's smiling a lot, and all you need to do is make a, I want to make sure this draws first. Yes, okay. So what you want to do is just do a tiny, I'm going to draw it thinner because I don't want, or lighter so that I still need this felt. So you just want to draw like a little, that's horrible looking, a little smile like that. That's all it is. And then go down. Something like that. It's not perfect. How many times I've had to draw these is ridiculous. But this is the best that I got. And then after that, you're going to cut that out and you are going to draw with your pen around, or if you have a marker, I just had a pen, draw around the border of it to make it look darker and to make it, I guess, look more cartoonish, I guess. So after that, this is your mouth. You can pause at whatever time. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I can't draw at all. And for these petals, again, you would just, I just freehanded it. So you have that. See, that looks a lot better than what I've done, but It's just a free-handed stitch, or not stitch, drawing. You just freehand it. And again, if it doesn't look perfect, that's fine, because I can't draw, and I think she's gonna look pretty cute. So you're gonna make leaves for four of these leaves for her little bow. Not bow, it looks like a bow, but it's a flower on her head, right? You will also need a little bit of orange felt for this, and all you need is a tiny circle for this orange felt, and that will go in between the petals to form a flower. After that, for the eyes, I want to make sure, ooh, my phone is about to die. Anyway, I want to make sure that you can see what the eyes look like. So again, you're going to need a little bit of white felt, cut out a tiny little circle, you place that there, and cut out an even tinier circle, and you're going to place that at, no, that's the wrong one, sorry. You're going to place an even tinier circle, and you're going to place that at the top like that. I don't know if you can see that. But it's just to add a little bit more of a detail to it. Don't worry, I'm going to I'm going to glue all this stuff on so you can see what exactly it looks like and what place it needs to go on. And she also has bandages on her face, so you are going to need pink felt, and you are just going to cut out tiny little strips like this. 2, 4, 6. You're going to need about 6 of them. Just tiny little strips like this. And again, like the mouth, you are going to color around the edges. Doesn't need to look that dark, but color around the edges for that, for the bandages on her face. So I am first going to add on the eyes first. The little lines that you will need for this are, as you can see here, the little lines is that line underneath her eye. Again, I'm trying to pay as much close attention to detail as I can. So I'm going to add on the eyes first and the mouth, and periodically through it I will show you how it's supposed to look. Alright, now the safest way to glue this on is to apply your glue before you stick it on, and not on the actual piece of, if it's too tiny like I did, like this one, push the glue onto it and then put on the felt, because you don't want to burn yourself, because I just did. Now my glue gun is getting a little too hot. Okay, so I put on the eyes. Now for this part, you have these little lines. Actually, I might have made this a little bit too long. Cut your piece of yarn until it sits out like that, I guess. And for this, again, I recommend you using a needle end and putting the glue on before you actually put on the piece. Oh, come on. Sorry about that. There's a really big storm coming. I'm going to try to finish this as quickly as possible. If you see the lights flicker, forgive me. But I now put on the little strands of yarn. Now I hooked my thing back up, and now I'm going to put on the mouth. So actually, now that I look at it, I kind of want to make it a little bigger. Is that okay? Is that okay? If you want to make it bigger, you can. I think that kind of looks cute. But is my thing hot enough? I'm going to try to glue this on. Now this is a big enough piece where you can glue this on. But please don't burn yourself. Okay. Please do not. I feel like it should be bigger, but I like the way this one looks, so Well, no. Let's see if I can take this off.
It's raining really badly.
Alright, so I wound up making an even bigger face because I did not like the way that how tiny the one looked. So I'm going to glue this face on. It's pretty big. I'm going to glue this one on, and then I'm going to start making or gluing on her flower, which I'm going to show you how to do, and then her little bandages, which again I'm going to show you how to do, but be very, very careful. Alright, now for the bandages, again, be very, very careful. I had to redo my glue gun. Now for this, there is a tiny bandage at the top of her head. You want to make sure that the part you colored in is facing out. And I'm going to put mine, it's mostly in the middle of her forehead. Now you want to put the glue down like so, and then push it down like that. And then take your other piece, make sure the black part that's colored in is facing your way, and you are going to put a little bit of glue on top of that one and push it down like that. So it's a little bandage. The other bandage is on the side of her face right here. So you're going to follow that same pattern, and a little bit underneath her eye. You're going to put a little bit of glue. I'm doing this freehand. I do not recommend it though. I use the end of my needle if it gets to be too much, and then you put a little bit of glue in the middle of that, and then put it as a cross over top of it like that. Push this down. Alright, now that's another bandage there. And then she has another one on the lower part of her face, but this one is in the form of a X, like that. So you're just simply going to put it at the bottom of her face like this, but in a X shape. So I'm going to glue that part in. Woo, 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 not smart. Woo. And then the middle, but this time instead of doing a cross, you are going to do an X. And make sure all parts are facing. Ooh, ooh, ow, Jesus. All parts are facing out. So now you have the bandages placed on her face. And the last thing that you would need to do is the leaves, and the leaves on, or the flower for her head that will go right here. So I'm going to hook my glue gun up again. The glue is getting a bit cold, and I will show you how to. Alright, now this is what you want the petals to sit as, and then you're going to put this tiny piece of felt in between like that. But the way the petals are sitting, this is overlapping this one, they're all sitting on top of one another, so you can fit the glue at the bottom and then put on the petals. So I'm going to show you now. I'm going to try to keep them all together. My glue gun is really hot right now. I need to unplug it. But you have that one sits there. Oh, let's get bored. And then you put it out so you can see. That one, sit that there. And then you have you would put make sure it sits properly, and you put a little bit of glue there's your flower, again, as you can see, I've drawn on the back of them, but it sits like that, and it looks like this in the front. And then you're going to grab your head, and her little flower sits atop like that. So you are just going to glue around the bottom of this. Where's the glue? Come on now. My glue doesn't want to work, but it's putting out enough glue. Whatever. Okay, and then how this sits, I want the flower like that. And then you have her, which is, I think, super adorable. So that is the first one, and I will come back and show you the others, preferably the one with the bomb in his hand. Alright, the next person that we are going to be making is the bomb looking enemy, and as you can see from this cutout, that is how you would want the face to be shaped. Again, or in this, there's no template I used. Again, it is just freehand. It doesn't look very perfect, but this is what I was able to get out of this. Again, I just eyeballed it, and that is the outline that I used, or the outline that it's supposed to look like. Now, for this, you need to crochet 2 eyes for it, which I will show you. Crochet 2 eyes for it, and once you put the eyes in, you're going to sit them on this face. You're going to draw, as you can see here, like I said, trying to add in as much detail as I can. The way he looks, I'm trying to get the picture right. Alright, the way he looks, he has little embellishments here and there. So, you're going to need to, but first I'll show you how to make the eyes first. Again, you are going to want to take your 5mm hook and your black yarn, and let me see, let me get my black yarn. Where's the end to this? Okay. You're going to take your black yarn and your 5.5mm hook, and you are going to make a magic circle. See, it has glue left on it. Make a magic circle. What is this? I'm so sorry. Make a magic circle. And you're going to put 8 single. Alright, now after you are done with that, you are going to chain 1. Now I'm just going to put my stitch marker in just for reference, but it's a really tiny pattern. So what you are going to do is you are going to single crochet. What in the world is that? You are going to single crochet in the next stitch. I'm trying to find, there it is. Single crochet in the next stitch, and then you're going to do an increase. Increase, and then you're going to do another single crochet, and then an increase. I need to unplug my glue gun. I can smell it getting hot. Single crochet, and then another increase, and let me see. After that, you are going to slip stitch into the next stitch and yarn off. So you're making half of it, which fits into this part right here. So make 2 of those, and I will glue on the eyes. You see the indentations of what you're supposed to draw on. Just add the eyes and then glue this to the face. All right, now after that, you have the enemy with the bomb. Again, I do not know his name. And that one's really easy. All you need to do is have a little bit of felt, and the eyes don't take that long. Like I said, these are all heads, so it's not going to take that long to make them. Now, the next one that we are going to be making is the one with the red eyes, which I believe, I don't remember the name. I think it was, they'll be in the description. But I think it was the gazing Globlin, or it wasn't Goblin, it was Globlin something. So for this one, I'm gonna move these out of the way. But 2 have already been made. Again, they're really quick, really easy. Well, it's not quick when you're doing them. It looks quick now because I've made these already. But for this, you are going to need to make a black head, and you are going to need your red yarn to make the, oh shoot, you're going to need red yarn to make the eyeballs, and you're also going to need a little bit of felt for the pupils, 2 tiny circles for the pupils. Now I'm going to go back to the picture for reference. And again, I want to make it look as realistic as possible. So that is the picture, which is why you have the white little pupils, because he has little white little pupils there. So this one's really simple, really quick. I just thought he looked cute. So I'm going to start crocheting. Once you've crocheted the head, leave that to the side. Get your 2 little pieces of felt, circle felt, and I'm going to show you how to make the eyes for it. Alright, now for the eye portion of this, you are again going to take your 5.5 millimeter hook and your red yarn, and you are going to make a magic circle. Take my needle, yarn over, and in the mat you are going to put 10 single crochet into the magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, after that, you are going to slip stitch into the top stitch, or the top stitch, and pull that, chain 1, get your stitch marker, and for row 1 and 2, you are going to be making it as if you would be making the beginning of the head. So in the first stitch, you're going to do 1 single crochet, and in the next stitch, you are going to do an increase. And you're going to follow that pattern all the way around for row 1. And then for row 2, you are going to put 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches and an increase. And after you finish that row, you are going to stop and wait for the rest of the direction. So do rows 1 and 2 first, and then I'll be back for the ending part. Alright, now after you do that, you are going to yarn off and attach your pupils to, which is these tiny little pieces of felt. You're going to attach them. Again, I will show you what it looks like just for reference, but you are going to attach the eyeballs to the head, and then the pupils to the eyeball, whichever way you would like to do it. And then we will move on to the last enemy of this enemy or character. I don't know yet. I'm still in the process of watching The Binding of Isaac. I forgot what YouTuber I was watching it on. I think it starts with Northern something, but I'm going to start doing that, and then I will be back to show you the final product of the goblin. What is it called? Black Goblin, and then the red one, which is supposed to be called the Gaping Goblin. And then we will be done with this particular video. In the next video, I will have 4 more for you. Alright, now I have my pupils, not my pupils, my eyes fully cut out. I sewed in the things for it. Now I'm going to go off and I'm going to put the glue on the piece of yarn before I stick it on, because it's a little safer. And I'm going to do that for this one as well. Push this out and then put that, please don't burn yourself. And that's how you want it to do, both in the corner of the eye, the left corner of the eye. Now all that's left to do, because this is a very simple sorry about that, once you do that, you are just going to stick them on the face, and that will be it for this one. I mean, it's okay, I guess. So after you do that, we have one more left, which is the gaping, I don't remember the name, but the Gaping Goblin. And you will need, I'm going to undo all of this, and you will need to make your head out of red yarn, and I'm going to lay all of the pieces out and explain what pieces that you will need for yarn, and also felt. Alright, now I've laid it out to show you what it is supposed to look like. Oh, and this piece right here. I laid it out so I can show you what it's supposed to look like. I'm going to first show you how to, that's how it's supposed to look on the face, but I'm going to show you how to crochet the eyes, and it's a little, this is the reference of the picture that I'm going off of. So it's a little pink little line at the bottom of that eye, and I am going to show you how to make that and the eyes, and then once that's done, all you have to do is do the felt. So let's get started. You will also need orange felt for this, but the parts of the felt that you will need are so tiny it really wouldn't matter. You could use any color you want, as long as you have the colors. If you don't have the colors on hand, it's fine. Be creative, do what you want to do. So I'm going to show you how to make the eyes, and I'm going to come back and show you how to cut out the felt. Okay, for the part of the, sorry for the light flicker, it's still raining. For the little part that you put underneath the left eye, which is going to be made into this square form, you are going to just chain, let's see, chain 1, 2, 3, 5. Alright, now for the left eye, you are going to, I'm using pink because it's lighter and you can see the stitches more. You are going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and you are going to single crochet down that row with darker yarn. It's harder to see the stitches. So you're going to single crochet down that entire row. Pull that tighter. Now you have that. Now after that, you are going to, again as you did, which eye was that? For the bandage girl, you are, well, no, it's sort of similar, but you are going to do an increase in that same stitch, an increase, and this time you're going to do a slip stitch. So instead of a single crochet and a slip stitch, you are now doing an increase and a slip stitch. An increase first and then a slip stitch in the next stitch. And you will end with a increase. Right? Now, what I like to do, where is my eye, is I single crochet, well, slip stitched around the entire outer part of the eye to make it look a bit bigger, because that's all you really have right now, and to make it line up a bit more, because right now it looks all over the place. So once you do that, this is the left eye, which you have the pink part to put underneath it. The bottom part is a long line. So after you make that, you're going to move over and make your right eye. And the right eye is very easy. It's very simple. You were just going to make a magic circle, put 9 single crochet into it, and for row 1, you are going to, again, how you would do the beginning of the head, a single crochet and an increase. You're going to repeat that for row 1, and for row 2, you are going to single crochet in every stitch around and yarn off. Very, very simple. When you're done, it will come out looking like that simple circle. So now that's all you need to crochet for this part of this person. Now I'm going to show you how to do the parts of the felt. Now again, it's very simple. You just cut out for one of the pupils a tiny little circle, then another tiny little circle, not that big. Circles don't have to be, you know, that well done. I can't draw. Excuse me. And then a tiny little mouth, which now that I'm looking at it, I kind of want to make it a little bit bigger, honestly. So this is a reference to the mouth, but I think I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And then well, I'll put the eyes on first. If I put the eyes on first and the mouth fits, then I'll keep it. If not, I'll just make it a little bit bigger. And then, like the bandage girl, you are going to take 2 white strips of felt, put them in a cross together, and that goes in his forehead. And it's some orange little part on his head that I don't know what it is. You can't really see it in the picture, but it's a little orange part right there. You probably can't see it, but it's an orange part that you just cut out this tiny little, I don't know if you can see that. Almost looks like a nose. And you're going to cut that out. And then after that, you assemble it all. Make sure you're being careful with your glue gun. And I'm going to put on the parts now, glue on the face and the eyes and stuff like that. And then I will come back and show you the final product of all of them for this video. It fit! This is by far my favorite one. So you have that one, this one, and this one. You'll be able to see them in the thumbnail, which is why I showed their final product before I did them. But this was a really fun video that I'm doing. Next, I will have 4 more for you, and hopefully a lot more. I just love making these. They're really cute, they're really easy, they're fun. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.